Hello, Admiral Seabass here. Welcome to my war room in Indianapolis, Indiana. Look at this. I've been working on this for weeks, getting this ready, and it's here. It's time for Global War 1936. And after my Global 40 game, I told you guys I was going to be doing this next. And so here it is. It is all set up now in the war room. Just finished this today, and I wanted to show you guys. It is all set up and ready to go. And isn't it beautiful? And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I did this and some of the choices that I made. But look at that, the 4x8 map, Global War 36. And here's my attack and defend battle boards. Here's where all the money's going to be for all the countries. And then in the middle here, you know, when you're playing, you know, you can, like, if you're the German player, you can get this out, put it here. You got your stuff here. You can spend your money and make your choices. You probably have to go over to the other side of the board to make most of your moves and everything, but here it is. And then here's the ship and facility production chart down here. So just look at this beautiful game, this beautiful board. And I tell you, this has been so much fun putting this together. Really enjoyed this. It is such a, everybody who in my family who's seen this is like, oh, the map is so beautiful. And so this is the initial setup. And then over here you can see got my command station over here. Got a whiteboard. You see I had limited space between these two doors here. And I couldn't really find a magnetic whiteboard that was narrow enough to fill the space, so I just used this one and sort of turned it and made it more vertical, and got all the industrial production point tracking here, and actually let me take this Canada one off because I ordered the Canada expansion from Historical Board Games, but it's not here yet. I know you got to make some adjustments to income for Great Britain as well. So and then we got the technology chart up here and all kinds of different markers ready to go there. And then up here I'm going to use to track victory points in real time during the game. Then down here you can see I got all my fleet charts, army charts, rules, supply tokens, chips and stuff in here. Gray and green and red chips in here. And then down here, all the storage units for all the nations. Here's the Axis. Here's the Allies, the Russians. And here's all the neutrals or minor countries here. And these are poker chips that I use for money. And there's my dice tray. And then down there is kind of all my supplies and stuff in my projects that I'm working on. So I'm super excited, and you know, I have to say it worked out pretty well. One of the things I've been doing, and I'm still in the process of doing, is flight stands. Historical Board Gaming just posted or put a bunch of new flight stands on, and I really like the way these have worked so far. And if you watch like General Hand Grenade's video on how to do them, he tells you how. And one of the things he said is he learned a lot and failed a lot early on, and I certainly did too. I drilled through about 3 US P-38 Mustangs until I really figured out how to do that. And then I bought some magnets from Amazon for the carriers, and that worked pretty well. I just glued these down, and then pretty powerful magnets though, so you got to watch it with those. And then you can see a lot of the new French pieces from Historical Board Games here, including this Richelieu battleship, which I just love. There's the new cruiser and the new destroyer down there and the new subs. There's the new Golo transport, and the new fighter and medium bomber there. And so really like those pieces. And then I did buy the Spanish Civil War expansion. I am going to play the out-of-the-box rules for the Spanish Civil War the first time I play, though. And then you can see here, I'm not a painter of my units, so I used I bought a variety of colors from historical board games for like my neutrals. One thing I noticed though is that excuse me, for the 36 setup, depending on what units a country has, you can use some of the colors or not. Like Poland, for example. Poland has a cavalry and a torpedo boat destroyer as part of its Global War 36 setup. If you don't paint your units, then you have to use white in that circumstance, because they make torpedo boat destroyers and cavalry in all of the colors for the major powers and white. So like Poland and Sweden has a torpedo boat destroyer, so I had to use white for them. Same thing for Yugoslavia. They have a cavalry, 2 cavalry and a torpedo boat destroyer. And some other countries, though, that don't have torpedo boat destroyers, like let's go down here to South America, and I'll show you an example of a couple of different things. So Peru, for example, Peru has an infantry and a destroyer. So I kind of had this off-white or cream color for them, and so I could not use white for them to have some variety, because you look at South America here and there's a variety of colors, which is nice. I really don't want to use white for all the neutrals. So whereas Chile has a torpedo boat destroyer, a cruiser, and an infantry, so I had to use white for them. Although for Argentina, I was able to use some old pieces, French pieces. They have a cruiser, so I use an old Europe 40 French cruiser for them. And they have a torpedo boat destroyer, so I had bought a World War I blue to use as a torpedo boat destroyer for France, and later I bought the actual historical board gaming torpedo boat destroyer set. And then I used the new French sculpts for their infantry and the old French fighter. And I thought I could get away with that because they're down here and they're not really going to come into the game unless they get aligned to Germany, which in that case they'd be replaced anyway. So this is just for aesthetic purposes. Same thing here. I used some U.S. pieces here to represent the Brazilians, again, just for variety. But you can see, like here for Ireland, I had a light blue infantry sculpt that I could use for that militia here. I had some extra yellows that I could use for Norway, just so they stand out, right? So it's just not white, 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 white. See down here in the Middle East, I used white here for Afghanistan. And also, since they have a mountain infantry, you can only get a mountain in white or for the major power colors. So I had to use white there, but then I used the off-white for Iran, yellow for Iraq, the light blue again for Saudi Arabia, and an old really green U.S. Marine sculpt for Yemen there. And then over here, I'm going to use Rank Carcass's rules on Warlords, which are if a warlord country borders the CCP, I'm sorry, if a warlord country borders the Soviet Union or Mongolia, they will go with the CCP. And so that's why I used off-white here. For the rest that will not go, that will go KMT, I used white. And so yeah, and see, I love these flight stands, and I ordered more. I ordered only 10 to get started just to see if I could do it and if I liked them, and I did. So I ordered a lot more, and I'm going to complete those when they come in. And then you can see, how'd this guy fall off of Hong Kong already? Unlike Rank Carcass, I don't let my cats in here, so I'm not sure how that happened. I did get the Netherlands Fights Back set. That recently came back into stock at Historical Board Gaming, and I got that one. They still, again, don't make a torpedo boat destroyer for Netherlands, though, even though they include one in the setup. So I just put that on the white one on a Netherlands chip, and I had to use that to represent the coastal sub, and this would represent the normal sub. So I'm looking forward to playing with that as well. Using the Soviet early war infantry set for the CCP, and yeah, I just really like the way this looks. Really like the setup. I cannot wait to play. And I've been watching a lot of Rank Carcass and General Hand Grenade, or rewatching a lot of their videos just to relearn the game so that I can get going. But this is what we're going to do. I'm going to play a solitaire game of this. I'm going to play with a number of expansions. I'll play with Canada at War if it comes soon. If it doesn't, I don't know if I can wait. But I'm definitely going to play with Netherlands at War. I'm definitely going to play with light cruisers and battle cruisers. Pretty much the same stats that I used in my Global 40 game. I'm definitely going to play with the Warlord rules for the CCP. And there's a number of other expansions I'm going to play with as well, and I'll tell you about those before I start. So, oh yeah, let me show you this up close. Again, my ship and facility production chart. I had to space these out. These magnets are pretty strong, so I had to be careful not to get them too close to each other. But yeah, there you can really see the how much that French battleship stands out there, and I love the French cruiser sculpt too. So yeah, this is it. Cannot wait to get started. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and look for my first solitaire game coming up. This is Admiral Seabass, signing off.